Welcome to the Rankings Podcast, where we feature top founders, entrepreneurs, and elite personal injury attorneys and share their inspiring stories. Now, let's get started with the show.
Chris Stryer here, president and founder of Rankings.io, where we help elite personal injury attorneys dominate first-page rankings. You're listening to the Rankings Podcast, where I feature top business owners, entrepreneurs, and of course, elite personal injury attorneys. Speaking of entrepreneurs and attorneys, my guest today is Jessie Hoerman of SimplyConvert. Jessie's background is not only in law, but also in accounting. She was a manager of international tax before co-founding TorHoerman Law. That led her to TruLaw and finally to the creation of SimplyConvert, a business designed to fix the broken client intake system that most law firms have. Jessie, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so hey, let's jump right in. So what is SimplyConvert and where did that idea come from?
SimplyConvert is an automated intake platform, and it came out of a need that TorHoerman Law and TruLaw had. We were very busy trying to bring in more and more leads, which was kind of, as it turns out, maybe not a great thing. But we were convinced that to be successful, we had to bring in a ton of leads. We did it by, rocking the organic world, paid advertising. We were all over blogging and social media. And we turned our intake, our client intake funnel into total chaos. And I actually started listening to staff about a few years ago, and they were yelling at me and saying they couldn't keep up, they couldn't prioritize, they didn't know what was going on with all of these leads, and they weren't turning into clients. So what we had been doing was not working. So SimplyConvert was actually born out of the idea that we could do a better job organizing, prioritizing, and maybe even converting those leads into clients. And so that's what we did. We started out with automating intakes from everywhere, and we were pushing all of our intakes into one funnel. And then a few years ago, we also decided to develop a live chat replacement, because when we ended up gutting our system, we realized our biggest problem was the live chat. And so at the same time, chatbots were kind of coming out. So in addition to our automated intake, we decided to build a chatbot, an all-knowing chatbot that was able to speak with our clients better than the live chat agents. And it went into the same funnel, the same automation. And so really that's what it is and why it was created. It was a need that we needed filled.
I love that. So you say a ton of things that I want to dig into. So it's basically a full intake system. So chat's just a component of it. But, starting with chat, in the legal vertical, most attorneys are using Engage or Apex. That's probably the two most common. You also hear some using Intercom and Drift. So how is SimplyConvert different first from Engage and Apex?
Well, truly, it was born out of a need to replace Engage, and it specifically Engage, but also Apex. What we had found was the live chat agents were close to like therapy sessions where the individuals would just chat endlessly, never ask any questions that we needed answered. There was no scripting. We ended up reading through pages and pages of details that weren't relevant. And truthfully, some of the times the live chat agents who knew nothing about our business would give false information. It was something that all of my staff avoided reading. So if it was a good potential client, it often went to the bottom of the list. So we are different because we start from the point of criteria-based questions. We only ask the relevant information. We are born out of the idea that the individual that is coming to you is coming for a reason. And so if they find you to talk about a car accident and you're not talking about a car accident, there's no sense in having a conversation at all. So we are gathering proper information for the reason that the person found you and notifying immediately staff that need to get a hold of those individuals. In addition, if the lawyer is comfortable with it, we can also provide contracts instantly. So it's just a totally different way of doing things. We believe that today's legal consumer wants instant guidance because they're living in platforms like Amazon and Yelp and Airbnb. And so the client experience they're looking for is instant guidance, not a long therapy session with an individual in another country sometimes.
Yeah, that's a great point. And those long therapy sessions, especially if they convert a non-qualified lead, I know some give refunds, but it can be very costly. So I love that yours is an AI-based logic system that can really get rid of that. I know a lot of attorneys that we work with that they've turned off their live chat because it seems like, those soft tissue injuries, it seems like those occur more and they're just kind of going down this rabbit hole. But I love that. So, one of the other things is, with Engage, if the client's not the right fit for maybe the firm, it may be the right fit for someone else. So how does SimplyConvert utilize that referral mechanism maybe that's missing from Engage or Apex?
Awesome. I'm so glad you brought that up. I think that's so important, and so many law firms miss that. We are an all-knowing chatbot, and we did that very purposefully. So as our chatbot grows and grows, as our community of lawyers grows, we are teaching the chatbot the correct information for every single litigation. We have over 50 practice areas now, and we continue to grow. And the reason for that is we could actually create this entire referral network on the back end so that the right lawyer is talking to the right potential client. And I think that's important not only for a specific law firm's ability to diversify, but I think it's also important because the truth is individuals today find law firms for all sorts of crazy reasons, and they're not getting the proper lawyers. But if we could actually be a part of connecting the right potential client to the right lawyer or clinic, quite honestly, we could take a little tiny chunk out of this huge access to justice problem. So I believe that an all-knowing chatbot is the right answer for law firms and for the potential clients.
Yeah, so it definitely helps.
Did I take you off in a wrong way?
No. I think it definitely helps the consumer, right? Because they need legal assistance and they're kind of lost. And I think one of the things is attorneys are leaving a lot of money on the table, right? From referral situations, not only from activating those monetization periods, but also just reciprocity.
Yes.
So
yes, in states and in so I came from the mass tort world, and the truth is a mass tort is really just a collection of individuals all over the country who have an injury. So there's no reason they need to go to the mass tort lawyer. They may be going to their local attorney, and that local attorney, quite honestly, is probably the best person to have the initial conversation with their local person that's injured. That said, most lawyers don't want to be mass tort lawyers and going up against these corporations, but we can connect them to that right mass tort lawyer. And that's exactly what you're talking about, leaving money on the table. That lawyer that's having that initial conversation, who's connected to that client, that person actually serves a purpose as a referral attorney, and they should be able to get a fee for that. And so absolutely, we believe that this chatbot could open up mass torts to every lawyer in every single city. And there's no reason why it shouldn't happen that way.
Yeah, and I see so many just out-of-state leads, that are just ignored. And that's just a lot of revenue potential there.
For sure.
So let's talk about another situation that you have with intake particularly, and their ability, a lot of intakes just staff up 9 to 5, regular business hours. What percentage are we looking at that are contacting people in the after hours? How does your tool impact that 24/7 intake?
So I think that every lawyer should be looking at their own analytics to see the percentage of people that are coming to them after hours. What I found, and it's been maybe a year since I've really looked at it, we were at 65 to 70%. My guess is it's probably over that now. It's 75% mobile and at least 60% coming in after true business hours. And so any law firm that is not figuring out a way to service potential clients during those hours are going to lose them to other law firms that have figured this out. And what I mean by servicing them is not an overnight call center that doesn't provide information or a live chat, because quite honestly, we also know that if you're not providing real value to the individual at the moment that they intend to hire a lawyer, then they're going to keep searching. At least half of them will keep on searching until they find a lawyer that can actually provide them guidance and stop that search. So if you take those numbers, you're talking about at least 60% of the individuals that are going to call you after hours / find you online after hours. And we all need to be figuring out a way to solve that. So that's where we fit in. That was one of the reasons why we knew that we had to provide actual guidance after hours. And that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And, not only that, it's the cost to staff up. So even if you had your employees, staffing up after hours, and then it leads to, training. I heard this statement a while back where consistency is everything, right? So if you have AI and you have a consistent intake, it's consistent for everyone and they have a good experience. So imagine, if you went to get your hair cut by a barber and the first time they did a great job, and the same barber the second time did a terrible job. Well, you would probably never go to them again.
Right. True.
So,
and take it a step further, AI is learning. So if you had a haircut where they missed a hair and you went in and complained and you said you missed that hair, the next time the AI in theory would not miss that hair. So it's even beyond consistency. It's also machine learning. And I hate to say it, I've had a lot of schooling, but my bot is smarter than me. It remembers things much more. I mean, it knows what it knows, but it doesn't forget. And so, there's no need for training. The bot continues to get smarter and smarter. We've been running with it for 2 years, teaching it. And so it's absolutely true that there's no training. There's no coming in and teaching the bot to talk. It speaks from day one. And there's a huge value there.
I love that. So you mentioned the AI bot, and I know we talked about Engage and Apex. So let's talk about Intercom and Drift. So Intercom and Drift, they are AI-based software. They use logic. They, kind of in the similar space with the bots. So how is SimplyConvert different from those tools?
So first of all, I'll just say that I think Drift is an amazing company, and I really do love the basic kind of Drifts, the simplicity of it. It doesn't serve the same market as us. I think that bots are super cool and individuals are getting more and more used to speaking to them, but legal consumers are coming with one specific question. They want to know, can you assist me with insert legal issue here? And lawyers need a bot that answers that question. Well, the Drift type bots of the world are generally programmed to talk about the lawyers or their reiterations of the website. They don't answer the question. They're not criteria based, or if they are, the lawyer has to actually do all the work of teaching it and then changing it. So very few of them are what ours is, which is a criteria based, always changing, all knowing chatbot. They're generally a one-off reiteration of whatever the lawyer is doing. Maybe it includes videos, maybe it looks pretty cool, but at the end of the day, it doesn't actually answer the question, can you help me? Which is why people are coming to find you. Some of them that I've seen actually can get minimal information and calendar. Calendar possible going and chatting with somebody further. But I don't like that because the truth is we don't need to talk to 100% of the people that reach out to us. There's going to be a certain percentage of people that find you for a reason that you really just cannot help them. And it's not effective to have your staff talk to 100% of the people that find you online for every single reason. So we believe in sorting that out and being a little bit more efficient in responding to needs of potential clients.
I love that. So you're getting you're getting the benefit with your tool of all your improvements. and
Right.
you're not having to start and build the logic from the ground.
Right.
So I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here. Can you kind of walk our audience through maybe the flow, the workflow of what they may experience? So say, I'm going to give you the example. Okay. So I'm in St. Louis. I get in a rear end collision, right, on Interstate 64.
Mhm.
And I go to your website and I see the AI chat, SimplyConvert. What kind of experience am I going to have? What are some of these questions that the chatbot's going to ask?
First, I hope you've already called the ambulance and you're okay. I'm sorry to hear it. But the chatbot is going to, first of all, walk you through the questions about how did the accident happen. It's going to ask you, were you the passenger? Were you the driver? It's going to ask you about treatment, and treatment's real important. Every single lawyer has a different idea of which cases they want to take. And the nice thing about our chatbot is we can help every lawyer. We have some lawyers that only want to talk to individuals that have had ER visits and hospitalization. And we have other lawyers that quite honestly are okay with like doctor visits. So the bot is programmed to sort those out for the specific lawyers. But let's just say that you're a high-end catastrophic injury type lawyer and you only want those hospital injuries. We're going to make that a lead one for the lawyer. And the next questions we're going to ask is, when did it happen and in what state? And for lawyers listening, they know that those are very important. Those are very important criteria for determining a statute of limitation. So, sadly, if your injury on 40 happened 3 years ago, we're probably not going to be able to help you. And the bot's going to be able to say very nicely, I'm sorry, at this point, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to assist you. We're going to cover our butts and say you should check with another lawyer. But let's say your injury happened last week. Well, you're probably going to be a great candidate for a catastrophic injury lawyer to contact you instantly. And so at the end of it, we'll probably say, you may have a case. We're going to trigger a notification to the law firm, and more than likely, you'll get a phone call immediately. You may also be provided a contract if that law firm is comfortable with sending out contracts instantly. You may be provided a contract within it that you can actually even sign there. So that's what it's going to look like. As a person that's injured and wanting a lawyer, you're going to have instant guidance about whether or not the lawyer you found can help you. And that's the goal. I think that's what people are looking for. And, that's how we provide it.
I love that. So it just walks you through all the logic prompts. You get the information. When you're collecting that information, we've talked a lot about the front end, like the experience of the client and the chat features. Let's talk about some of those back end features, the CRM aspect.
Yeah.
So what information does SimplyConvert retain, and how would that be helpful for the law firm?
Yeah, so SimplyConvert is a full-blown CRM on the back end. We didn't know we needed to build that when we started, but once you start adding automation and collecting data on individuals, pretty soon you end up building a CRM. As my IT guys can tell you. But it retains every single information that you gather from the individual from the very first moment that they enter our bot until we have the ability to track all of the conversations that happen with your staff. We have notifications. It houses contracts. It houses all the emails and texts that go out to the client, all the way through to contract. Whatever that client intake funnel looks like for whatever specific potential client you have, we retain all of that information. And then we integrate with practice management systems, because there's lots of great practice management systems out there. We have no reason to duplicate all of that. We push all of that information into whatever practice management system the individuals, whatever practice management system the law firm is using. And so that's something we do during setup, is make sure that this is a streamlined process. We don't want law firms living in 2 to 3 different systems. That would be absolutely against what we're going for. It's supposed to be simple. And so that's pretty much what it looks like. Very simple version of what it looks like.
Yeah, I like that. And so specifically, what are a few of those integrations to those main CRMs? Because I know law firms, when they have to consider moving or changing CRMs, they would be really against that. So what are some that you integrate with? So
we're an open API. We currently integrate with Filevine. We're working with Litify. Anything. I mean, we have webhooks set up right now. We've heard every single one from our law firms, and the extent to which they want to push, we will push. Whether they want to automate it or manually do it, it's really a wide open. And I've heard everything from every lawyer. I mean, everybody believes they have the best setup, and I believe them too. So we can fit within whatever system needs to be fit. I love that. So getting to the personal side of things and switching over just a little bit, what are some of your favorite business books that you can recommend? Okay, I'm obsessed with Jack Newton. His whole take on client-centered law firms. I think that so much of the time we forget that there's a client on the other end, at least in the intake process. I know law firms are really, really good at once clients are signed, we really focus on them, and we do that really well. We don't do a really good job on that starting point. We do a lousy job. So I obsess a little bit about how to make that beginning conversation more client-centered. And there's a few books. There's a couple more about humanizing that and that I've been reading up on, and that's kind of where I've been obsessing lately. A little bit too much, but that's what I've been reading lately. Well, I'd say that perfectly. That's, intentional reading, right? So that directly aligns with what the experience you're trying to provide with SimplyConvert. So that makes sense. I was doing some research before our interview, and I saw that TorHoerman gives away 500 turkeys each year, and I don't know if that number is rising. So was that something that originated from you as the marketing director there? The former marketing director? We love that. It's been going on now for 7 years or so. It's a really cool event. We just, we love being in this community and have always looked for opportunities to give back. And the event where we go out into the community and get all the staff out for one day of giving away. It started with turkeys, and now it's grown into other local businesses providing awesome food. And it's a cool event. And anytime our team can work together to actually do something great is just a blast for all of us. So the turkey giveaway, we've given away 500, 1,000. It really kind of depends on the year and what's going on, what the needs are. We go out and kind of feel around in the community and figure out what we need, where we're needed. And it's been super cool. That's got to be such a good feeling too. When awesome. That's awesome. It's awesome. So, one final question. Okay. Is there anything we didn't discuss about SimplyConvert you feel would be important for our audience to know? Gosh, no. Call us. We'll give you a demo. Everything, we've been trying to get our website up and rolling so that we can be a little bit more self-explanatory. We just got back from ABA Legal Tech, where we got a top 3 prize for the nice. Yeah, it was very, very cool for the new startup of the year. It's been a cool experience talking to other creators of legal tech inventions, and I really do like that crowd. It's cool to see where a mind goes if you let it. So I think that's about it. We'd love to chat with everybody. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Jessie. So we've been talking to Jessie Hoerman, founder of SimplyConvert. Jessie, where can people learn more about you? SimplyConvert.com. Thanks so much. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for listening to the Rankings Podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.